Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another amazing session at the Food Equipment Service Leaders Summit 2021. And again, in for a major treat. Technology is so important as we evolve in the food equipment industry. Today, this session you are here for is stand out from the crowd and win over new customers. Trust, keyword trust, by leveraging simple technology. I'm here today with Aaron Salow, CEO of XOI Technologies. And I am going to let him introduce himself, give a little bio, and then we'll talk a little bit about what XOI actually is, and then get into some real educational points and understanding why this is so important to you and your business. Aaron, give a little quick rundown and bio.
Yeah, Rich, thanks so much, man. I appreciate that. You get me pumped. Every time I see your stuff on social, I feel that way. And that intro got me the same frame of mind.
Yes.
Aaron Salow, CEO and founder of XOI, based here in Nashville, Tennessee. We just went through an ice storm. And if you're like me from the north, you will appreciate watching Southerners fight ice storms is comical in some places, but we did okay. We're through it now, and it's going to be 70 today. Started XOI Technology 7 years ago with the very specific goal in mind of solving the skilled trades gap. And we learned a lot along the way about engaging technicians, customers in the office, but leveraging software technology to provide trust, transparency, give opportunities for new technicians to learn faster, better, and really wow the customer. And that's why we built the business. That's where we continue to drive towards today. And that is XOI in a quick nutshell.
Beautiful. So XOI, okay, and I'm going to say right now, we just started implementing XOI in our own business, and I could tell you right off the bat, before we even get into this, the key component of this is going to really make your customer, your manufacturer partners understand what it looks like in reality in the field with a link, the click of a link, and we could talk more about this as we go. So Aaron, to kick this off, I know we're talking about trust, we're talking about transparency, we're talking about these things. When a customer of yours, you're heavy in the HVAC industry, all right? We're working our way into the food equipment industry. You got some real traction going right now. Why does someone, or how does someone, begin to implement this into their company? What's the starting process?
Yeah. Well, I think starting with the why of why this matters. I think the really interesting parallel is I can go spend $32 on an oil change, and I get the video of the underside of my truck and why I need to replace the rear diff or have some work done. Yet I can spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on service, HVAC, commercial kitchen, whatever the case may be. And what I get is an invoice with some notes, maybe. Right. And
Yep.
So the idea that companies are looking for, and customers are looking for, more consumer-like transparency and saying, hey, yes, you have reputation and trust, and I've known you for a long time, but as companies grow, they don't have that reputation out of the gate. So how am I showing you that I'm a company that can be depended on, that I do what I say I'm going to do every single time? And so that piece that you mentioned, the piece that really ties this all together, is acknowledging that end customers are looking for the same visibility they get when they get a Domino's pizza, and I know who made it, who's driving it to me, and when it shows up, I get a picture of it. Yet I can get a $5,000 replacement, and the notes are, I came and fixed it. And they're like, what? Right? Type of thing.
Oh.
What's happening? And so I think that expectation is starting to become more about an expectation and a standard in any field service industry that allows end customers to understand that. So in terms of why it's important, that is the core. And then from there, you can start to do really interesting things beyond that.
Absolutely. And so I know we have the food equipment service leaders. We have food equipment people watching this. They're running service businesses. For us, the main component of our service business is the technician, right? That's the lifeblood of our company. And oftentimes when we are, because I know these guys and gals out here are saying to themselves, okay, I got 10 technicians, 15, 30, 50, whatever it might be. It's so hard to get these guys all aligned to adopt this new technology. What are you seeing as far as, from what going through implementing? How are technicians adopting this technology from your input?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, our system is doing, whole sorts of kind of shiny object, cool things, man, augmented reality, machine learning, all this cool stuff. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of companies out there touting these things. At the end of the day, there are not enough technologies in the field service space in general in which are there to serve the technician and engage the other stakeholders that are involved in that. So I think about three main stakeholders. You have the technician themselves on the job getting it done. You got that end customer. Then you have the office that needs a variety of different things from the tech. So when I think about engaging with techs, we're always asking ourselves the question, and I think regardless of X or Y, you should be asking the question of any technology provider, what's in it for the technician? And we believe fully that empowering the front line builds your bottom line. And if you give these guys tools that engage them in their lives and make their lives easier, that's really impactful. On the idea of customer transparency, this is huge for all three stakeholders. We kind of talked about why customers are expecting more visibility, and you can build trust and earn business when you say, why should you choose me over the other people? Because we're going to give you a level of trust and transparency at every site visit, on every recommended repair, and every preventative repair that no one else is going to give you. And everyone's gotten burned at some point by a contractor. Everyone, every end customer has a story. I had this guy, so he's going to show up, all the things. So the ability to go, hey man, I know we're just getting to know each other and here's that value. That's clear. For the technician, good technicians, and everyone here that's an owner, a service manager will align with this. They care more about what the customer thinks about the work they do than their boss in a lot of cases. And you in fact want that. Meaning your service manager going, use this is not nearly as powerful as the customer going, hey Joe, hey Sally, this was awesome. I wasn't able to be on site at this time, and I saw that you did an incredible job. You diagnosed it correctly, and I sent that video to my CFO in Kansas City, and they approved it, and I want you guys to replace it, or whatever the case may be. It gives them a sense of professional pride. The other side of that is a little bit of cover your butt too, and you don't want to. You want to be able to tell a technician they've all been through it, right? Customer said, I left the panel off, screws on the ground, I left this a mess, I did these things, and you get into he said, she said thing. And so the other piece that's in it for the technician is say, hey man, we know you're doing a great job, right? 30-second video clip at the end of a call. This is what it looked like when I arrived. This is what it looked like when I left. If there's ever any questions, let me know. And so that benefits the technician as well. So professional pride, being able to show that you do what you said you're going to do and to cover your butt. And then getting a little bit into the kind of the cool stuff that we do. We do something called natural language processing, where we actually take what a guy says in the video and extract it to text. So technicians are known, as we know, that are not great at note taking sometimes. Some of the best technicians are I came and fixed it, and the office is like, hey, help me with this because it's a $12,000 invoice. I'm going to get pushback, type of thing. The ability to be able to justify that to the office, show what's happening, be really crystal clear about a quote, and ultimately have their notes drawn from a video into text. So you've got a paragraph of notes. Most techs are really good at talking about what they do, not so much at typing a paragraph sometimes about what they do. So I think that's an important piece too. So those are just some examples we've seen of how you're engaging the customer, the office, and the technician, and it actually makes their lives easier and better, which drives adoption. And then from there, you can do all the cool things like live video and safety and warranty stuff and knowledge base and all the other stuff our system does.
Oh, absolutely. And talking about technicians, you made the point about covering, CYA, we say, right? Cover your S. These guys are all about doing that. It's super important for them to say, hey, Rich, listen, we did what we said we were going to do. And that it does take away that he said, she said conversation. And it goes back to building that trust and that understanding that we're here to help you. Like you said, even I've been burned. I've had people out of my house do different, we've been burned. So sometimes there is that in the back of your mind, you're like, I don't know if I could trust these guys. This is something I think that, as an industry as a whole, I want to see my industry succeed. I always say service is king, and the men and women out here in the trenches, this gives power back to us, to show who we really are. And, let's talk about, because we're talking people, process, profit. So for the profit word, which, listen, we're in business, you're in business. We're here to make money. We're here to make money so we can feed our families, feed our teams.
Yeah.
Let's talk about closing sales from let's educate the food equipment world on, we want to be bigger profits. Is it really just about adding technicians, or is it about closing all those quotes that are open? There's so many quotes, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year go out the door because we're not closing them. This is a tool. Let's talk a little bit about the sales process.
Yeah, so you look at a few factors, and again, no matter what technology you look at, you think about visibility and what that provides me. So I think about sales. I think it starts with at bats. How many at bats is my technician group giving me to actually say, hey, here's a quote? Because that's a real thing. And if the at bats, meaning the ability for me to request quote help from the office or give the customer information, is really hard, I'm unlikely to do as many quotes as I would do if it was simple as taking a picture of the data plate, shooting a 45-second video of the issue. And I know that that link for that content is going to go straight to the office so they can hit this quote really quickly, which takes you to the next point. My at bats go up because it's easier, right? And it's more descriptive. Thus, the office, depending on how your company's set up, or your boss, or whoever's looking at that stuff, evaluating it, they have better clarity, which is faster speed to quote. We see that speed to quote increases sales dramatically because in the meantime, they're off kind of getting those 4 or 5 day turnaround quotes, or they're trying to source other people out. Your ability to provide that accuracy quote, one of the biggest problems again between the office and tech. It's like, dude, I got 2 pictures and a sentence. I don't know the part number. Are we going to be able to fit this replacement part through the door? Yeah, you got 30, we get stories all the time in the HVAC space. I know commercial kitchens the same. It's like, dude, you bought a 36-inch unit for and there's a 35-inch gate outside. Well, I can't even get it in, man. Everyone's got those stories. And so speed to quote, accuracy of quote, and then delivering that to the customer when they undoubtedly have do not exceed spending limits. They have someone they got to check with. And again, what they're used to getting is a piece of paper and a number, maybe a couple of photos, right? Maybe if you're doing those kind of things. Think about how you're empowering your customers for preventative repairs, especially going, hey, this isn't dead now, but if you don't take care of it now, we're going to be back out here at an emergency call. I've got the part in my truck. I can get it tomorrow, whatever the case may be. Hey, I got a guy in another city that approves this stuff, or my general manager looks over a bunch of locations. Cool, we'll shoot it to him with the link and the video. It makes it real. Right? It's not just a guy. Again, back to trust. Oh, some dude, the guy said we needed this thing. They go, yeah, sure thing. They're supposed to sell. Oh, wow. That rust or that leak is a problem. I can see why that's a problem. And the impact to my restaurant is going to be dramatic if that goes out, because I'm going to lose a bunch of food. I'm not going to be able to cook. I'm going to lose, whatever the case may be. Yes. So there's specific things across the sales spectrum that it's important to look at. It's not just about videos for the purposes of just closing. Do I give my guys more at bats because it's easy? Do I reduce the number of back and forth between the office and the technician because it's clear the first time? Speed to quote, and then closing those quotes because the customer sees the problem, their decision maker sees the problem, and they approve it. And that's where we see customers, again, any outside of XOI, that type of simple visibility is massive for sales.
Yeah. I mean, and talking to specifically to the food equipment, when we're out there, we just in a hospital and we had a steam generator pouring, a little pinhole thing, but it's water. You see water pouring out of this thing. So yeah. I got to take that link. I got to send it off to the food service director. And I said, listen, I said, Robert, I said, listen, take a look at this video, understand that, you're not going to be able to cook in this at all. We need to come back with this generator pretty quick. Because sometimes when, like you said, it makes it real. And when you make it real, it becomes the real dollars and cents. Like, okay, I'm not going to be able to produce whatever was on the menu tonight. This is going to cost us. And, that repair, now that might have been 3-4 weeks out, is going to be closed a lot sooner. The customer is going to be much happier, and they're going to say, Rich, this really made things a lot easier for my decision making on this $8,000 repair, because it's a costly repair. So sometimes we sit on those repairs. I sit on them here, sometimes with different van repairs and things we have to do. But this really is something I'm excited about it, because I talk all the time about technology and transparency, and this kind of really is in my wheelhouse, and it really it's furthering us along with everything we're trying to build here. So, Aaron, what else are we excited to talk about to educate the food equipment world on? We talked about sales, closing, different things of that nature. What else do we want to really drive home?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, technicians on site see a lot of different things. And, you see the sales opportunities, you see the preventative maintenance type opportunities. Are there safety concerns that can be documented, right? Health concerns that can be documented for that restaurant owner that they can get in front of, so the health department doesn't hammer them down. A big part of our system as well is live video content. And in COVID, our live video augmented reality capability and the content it creates. But we've seen a lot of folks leaning into, not only can I use live video to support my technicians, I'm going to send a link, because the way our system works, to my restaurant owner or facilities director. And I want to be able to get eyes and ears on the site before I even go. I'm going to send the right person, maybe with the right part. And so you start to get the sense of, people are more sensitive. Obviously, hopefully we're coming out of this thing, but social distancing, being able to get eyes and ears on site, it's a great workforce optimization tool. And when you're doing those kind of things, supporting guys in the field like that, we're recording those interactions, et cetera. So again, outside of XOI, thinking about the tools that are available to you to get eyes and ears on site and be more efficient as an organization, it also does a lot for transparency as well. Because if someone's got a fire, what we say a lot in the HVAC space is, oh, I'm going to send the closest "it's hot in here" guy, because that's what I got from the customer. It's hot in here, right? And if I could get a couple other pieces of information, I could send Phil or Sally, and they would be able to fix it, because I know a little bit more about the problem versus it's down, And so just some interesting things to think about when we think about transparency and trust and communication. And I saw you kind of light up on the health side, so I'm curious to get your take on that too. Like, where are the opportunities for you to provide that type of deliverable for your customer?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about safety, right? We're talking about safety. Things happen on the job, and when we're seeing it could be a number of things that happen. Like, he could document, "Hey, Rich, just want you to see, as I'm walking into the building, there's certain safety concerns," whatever they might be. It could be different variables at different locations, but documenting these things to show, if we're quoting an install. I think this goes to a site survey, really site survey stuff, which we're utilizing this a lot on the site survey portion of it, saying, "Rich, it's not going to be safe to get this up the stairs. We just did this with a combi oven. We went, the hallways were so narrow. We were going up about 15 or 16 stairs into a Rich, it's not safe. I don't think any of our technicians or any of us should be here. Take a look at this." I mean, he got the route, we got the measure tape out, we're measuring all this stuff. All this is captured on video as the technician is talking it through. We sent it off to the rep, and the rep said, "You know what? I agree. It's not safe. We're not going to put that unit in this facility." So yeah, that is real world stuff. This is stuff that's happening every single day. And, prior to that, with the link in the video, it's a clear video. It's a link. It's not one of these little things you get on the phone that you're trying to see. So you're getting the good quality video. And when I send that off to the rep, it just, usually I have to explain it. And he's like, "You sure about that?" Now he saw it. There's no questions. We're moving on. So we know that was not a safe install. That wasn't we're not going to lug a 1,000-pound combi oven up those stairs. So these are real world safety concerns that are being, tackled right away, and saving time and saving effort and money for us to get there and unload 4 guys trying to hump it. And it's just not going to work.
Yeah. So there's opportunities within any business to look at ways to provide consistent visibility in what's happening. And of course, we built this software with enterprise in mind. And so we deal with things like memory and security. And, for example, a technician takes a bunch of content. Once it's in the cloud, we delete it from their device, right? So if they leave the company someday, they're not taking their customer content with them. So there's things to thought through. But all that being said, there are opportunities to add this enhancement to your day that was huge deliverable returns on a pretty simple ask. And just to be clear to anyone listening, we're not trying to make Steven Spielberg's out on site, right? Not 8-hour videos. These are value moments. 30 seconds, 60 seconds. Our customers have taken millions of pieces of content over the last few years. Average video length is between 30 and 60 seconds. You're capturing value. This is the situation here. This is the situation here. The important piece is historical value too. It's something worth thinking. How many times, Rich, I'm sure you can think of examples. Yeah, I was on that site, I saw that thing. This customer's calling me 3 months later.
Yes.
Saying whatever, and having that in one cloud-based area, no matter what you use for reference, is great for, I've been recommending these repairs for 6 months, or I'm looking for a renewal. And I want you to show you the level of visibility and trust that I've built for you as a client. And so it's not just, "Oh yeah, I've seen you guys every so often and you did that one thing." And I'm making my own negative fantasy maybe in some cases about what you were as a contractor for me. We document every single trip we did for the last 2 years. Let's go ahead and walk through every single one. it's pretty powerful for a lot of different parts of your business. And again, you're not asking the tech to do 27 hours of video on site. Value creation, and it benefits them, the company, and the customer.
Yeah, and going back to that, that's a really important piece. Talking about the history. So technicians, they like to know everything. If Joe was there 2 months ago or last week, they want to know everything. And some, software, as we use it, there's some capability factors as far as looking at history and stuff in your tablet, but they're just words. It becomes more relevant and real when you see the video. So we could actually go back in XOI. We could type in the job name. We could type in a lot of different keywords and tags to go back and look. So, Gil might be going out on a call today that Dan was there 4 months ago. He's going to see exactly what happened and went down. We just replaced the motor. The motor's acting up again. We have video. We see what's going on. We're gonna have a much better opportunity to come in and assess the situation with the more information, because I always say information is power in this industry. Models and serials and all that stuff are all great. We need to get all that, but imagine having the story of the job right in front of you that just happened. This is power. It's empowering the technician.
Yeah, I'd encourage people listening to this to think about, in your service organization, where are your teams or you having unnecessary salary conversations, right? And that's a great example. So Gil and Dan, you mentioned those two examples. Gil's like, I see Dan was here 3 months ago. What is Gil going to do without a platform like this, as an example? He's going to call him. What's Dan doing? He's on another job. He's stopping. They BS about the weather and the football game from Sunday, and then they talk about the job. I saw your notes; they weren't great. What were you talking about in this issue? 15 minutes are not burned down. You may go, okay, yeah, that's life. That's, we want our guys to talk. You add a bunch of those 15-minute phone calls up in a day because you didn't take the 2 minutes, right? 2 minutes on a job to kind of look at what his thing was. There's a ton of value there. Think about all the back and forth of the office, right? Because folks in the office are going, you didn't give me this information. I need this, I need that. So looking at salary conversations and going, how many of these could I cut out, and how many more jobs could I do? How much more efficient, how much better would our lives be as an organization if I could cut those out?
Yeah. I mean, this is, we talk about in this industry, I talk about it. I know I do. I say, okay, there's 10 companies in my market. We all sell parts. We all sell service. We all have certified techs. We're all the best. What's the differentiator? This is the differentiator. Okay. This is the differentiator that you want to put in your bag and say, this is what we do. Nobody else does it. And this is going to be the conversation when you're sitting down for PMs and everything as well. I mean, there's endless reasons why this is important. I'm not trying to sell you on anything. I'm just literally telling you that this is game changing for the service industry to make good companies look like good companies, look like great companies.
Yeah. And what I would add to that, and I mean this sincerely, you need to have video in your business if you're listening to this. That doesn't have to be XOI. I'm encouraging people listening to this going, this is becoming a standard in this industry, and there's so much value for such a small investment of time. If you took the time to do it, it is immense value. And I promise that even if you just said, you know what, memory security, I'm not really worried about that. I got 4 techs. I'm gonna have guys start taking videos on their phone consistently. You will win. And I'd encourage you to test it out yourself, right? With your own devices and see. And it is a game changer for what people are expecting, and a really powerful piece to adding a differentiator to your business. I will add to that one of the point that you were making around selling a differentiator on the front end. A couple different things that came up when you think about video in your business and communication, those kind of things. To your point, hey, we're going to provide this deliverable to you every single time. We're going to be proactive about it, not reactive. And that's an important point to make about the cover your ass stuff, because a lot of people go, I don't want to play the gotcha game with my customer. You get the video content to them before they ask for it. You avoid the nuisance call completely. It isn't about waiting for the customer to call about something. You go, ooh, I gotcha. Here's a video. No, you give it to them every time. Yeah. And they go, oh, this is awesome. Right? I have very clarity. Yep. You're proactive. And then those calls just, again, back to, burning your office time, et cetera. It's a super important piece on delivering that. But also something really interesting that you could take away from this. We see, and you can tell me in the food service space that this is the same, and you educate me, as we acknowledged earlier, this is a newer industry we're getting into. But over our hundreds and customers and tens of thousands of technicians, it's super interesting to see them go on a job site in HVAC. They don't always maintenance all the equipment that's there. They have a contract for a portion of it. They will go do with XOI kind of complementary evaluations of other equipment to give their perspective. Of course, that's a weighted activity. What they're really trying to go is, hey, I don't know who services this, but I just thought I'd point out, I looked at a couple of these other pieces and this doesn't feel like the service is better. I can't tell you how many stories from customers that the end customer goes, that other company was here 2 weeks ago, said they replaced filters, tightened belts, cleaned coils, did all this stuff. They clearly didn't, right? Or these are other opportunities. So for you, for that technician, for the customer, for the company to go, I want to see what other equipment we would service on here that maybe we're not responsible for today, and do a quick 2-minute free evaluation. Send it to the customer and they go, yeah, I work with this other company, but they're clearly not doing their job. You just pointed out 8 things you would do differently on this piece of equipment if you were servicing it. Just an idea, right? And when you have tools like that, you can quickly get those opportunities.
Yeah. So I'll be honest, we're not doing that. I'm going to write that down when we're done here. This is something to implement, to look further and say, hey, listen, guys, I know we're just getting to the 30, 60-second videos. Let's do an additional one. Take a look at some of the other stuff. You might be there for the ice machine, but that does, you know what? Maybe you finished 15 minutes early. Give them the full hour. Go over and take a look at some of the other stuff and say, hey, listen, there's a ripped gasket here. This should be replaced. And this is going to show them, again, we're being proactive. We're saying, listen, we don't want your refrigerator or freezer to work extra hard. The gasket's coming off. You're going to need a compressor in 3 months because of that. Let's get the $70 gasket on and let's save you that compressor. Yep. Being proactive and showing the customer that, listen, that's the care factor of all of this.
That's right. Yep. Driving business and sales and profit, right?
Yeah.
Through those opportunities.
Yeah. And listen, it excites me. It excites me to no end, closing sales and increasing sales. I love it. You're in business, Aaron, you're in business, I'm business. You love the thrill of closing the sale and you love the thrill of it because you know you're doing good by people by closing those sales. So it just feels good. And I want to give a shout out, if I can, to JP, who helped implement our stuff. Again, I just wanted to give some recognition to him and maybe segue into a quick little, if anyone is interested, by the way, in getting involved with XOI, what's the implementation process look like, for them?
Yeah. So we, I think a lot of people think about their field service management solution, all the different 300 options you have that run your ticketing, dispatch and all that. And they kind of equate any technology to the pain that sometimes those are to put in. And some people months and months and months, a year, in some cases. We recently deployed a 150 tech shop in 30 days, right? The process that we have in place to make these intervals tight is really big. And in addition to that, we typically always do kind of pilot processes in the front end to validate everything we think, which really starts to build momentum with your techs. Yeah. Techs talk. And the people that we choose to be part of this pilot process starts to build momentum. And we know those things are working when techs who are not in the pilot program are going, hey, can I get that XY thing? Can I try the XY thing? And so it starts to build momentum. So to answer your question simply, anywhere between 2 and of course, we have some customers with a few thousand technicians. That's a longer process, but a typical client, you're looking at 2 to 4 weeks to get this rolling behind some significant evidence that it's already working. We got customers telling you it's awesome. We got feedback from the techs. We got feedback from folks. So it's certainly a quick turn and not to be compared maybe to, a 12-month ERP backend type of deployment at all.
Yeah, no. And for us, we did it. It was easy. And I just want to say JP is a friggin' rock star, man. He makes it easy. And that's another great thing to understand, because some people are very reluctant. This industry, there's a lot of reluctancy on moving the needle forward into the technology era. It's a very much, this is the way it always was, and we make money this way. Well, you can make more money if you started implementing a lot of these processes and technologies. So I wanted to make sure that we touched on that, so people aren't discouraged. Like, this might sound like, oh my God, this is going to be crazy. It's not crazy. Just take a breath and understand that this is your future at stake. Real simple.
I would like to say, since you called out JP a couple times, that he might be the biggest dirtbag I've ever met in my life. Just to put that out there. I had to do that because I hope he sees this and that makes him smile. JP he founded this company with me, and he is one of my best friends, and I love and trust him a lot. But I hope he doesn't hear that part. I want him to hear the dirtbag part. So thanks for saying that about JP.
Of course, man. So listen, I think we're coming to the end of this session. I don't want to leave anything off the table though. I want to make sure we covered everything so the food equipment industry at large really understands the importance of all this. Have we touched everything? Are you feeling like you want to get one more thing and two more things in to drive this home? Anything?
I think I would just reiterate, just as a recap, man, that again, in your business, where are the opportunities for transparency through video content to increase sales, customer deliverable, and differentiator? And even as a standalone of something you're using today outside of XOI, there are opportunities for you in your company. I hope the takeaway is, I'm going to test this out with somebody and see what the customer thinks and see if they care. Let's see if this helps sales. Let's see if this helps, because I'm telling you, the end customer expectation is elevating in every field service industry. And again, if you're getting video content on an oil change, you certainly can expect that they're going to want that level of transparency on a $5,000 replacement, right? So it's certainly an important thing to keep in mind. And as you think about elevating your business and differentiating how you use that content, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Some guy actually did a thing that says a video is worth 1.8 million words. So you can imagine the difference there. And I want to be the guy that has the time to do that study, but it's super interesting stuff. So thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Aaron, thank you so much for being a part of this and taking some time to educate the food equipment industry as we're all growing on the importance of adding these technologies to your company. And this is the first of many conversations, I have no doubt. We're going to take the food equipment industry by storm. We're going to get people excited about not just XOI, but just about technology in general. And that's what this is here. This is the Food Equipment Service Leaders Summit, is about getting the thought leaders together and talking about the stuff that's going to matter this decade, the next decade, and we're going to do it together. So thank you, brother.
Humbled that you had me, man. Thanks so much for the opportunity. Happy to help in any way I can. And thanks again. I really appreciate it.
So thank you, brother. So for the Food Equipment Service Leaders Summit, this session is coming to a close. Make sure you stick around, because we're going to have live Q&A later on, and we're going to really tackle some things, any of your questions, and jump in the Facebook group and start asking those questions so we can have them locked and loaded and ready to answer. And listen, thank you for joining us. Rich Malachy, see you on the next session.